pues.
And then also that comes about mental health, which is it's really scary out there with what's going on in society. But welcome everybody. Another Rebooted Mindset. I'm Alida Hernandez. Today is Tuesday, March 12th. I have to look at the calendar. Days are going really fast. Today we have a special edition today talking about Mama Antula. I don't know if you know who she is. But she was an incredible woman from Argentina, and she just became a saint. The Pope just canonized her as the first saint of Argentina, which is unbelievable. I don't know much about her. I've been learning about her, and what an incredible journey I have that somebody that I know, Gus Barney, who's going to be our guest today, he is family line from Mama Antula. He's from Argentina, and he's our guest today, so we're going to talk to him about these just a little bit about Mama, the miracles, and his abilities as well that we can share with everybody today. I have a little video. Some of the videos are in Spanish because, of course, she is from Argentina. But I just wanted to show a couple of little things, just a little biography of her. And this one's in Spanish, so I do apologize. But you can go online and see a couple other videos. But before that, I just want to say she had several miracles. That's why she became a saint. And one of the healing miracles that she did, it was a man who had a stroke, and she healed him, and that was confirmed. And then there was a couple other healings. Like I said, I'm learning about this and about her incredible journey of faith and healing around the world. So let me just get this video, and we'll. So sorry, I was looking all this up. I was kind of under the weather today and wasn't sure if I was even going to do the show today, but put a little makeup on and I'm here. Can't miss a Tuesday. So let's show this.
En un mundo de opresiones, de conflictos, de vulnerabilidad de los derechos, Mama Antula emerge como modelo a seguir. Ella es presente ante nuevas formas de cautividades. Es respuesta creativa y posible frente a la adversidad. Es acción, es palabra, es promesa de cambio, de libertad en igualdades. María Antonia de San José, libertad en igualdades. Desde el interior geográfico y espiritual al exterior político-social. María Antonia fue una mujer como pocas. Excluyéndose de los mandatos establecidos para una dama de su clase, supo manejar los márgenes de libertad que le permitía una sociedad constreñida por rígidos sistemas de valores jerárquicos y patriarcales.
Mama Antula no fue una mujer de su época, en el sentido que era visionaria, demandante, provocadora, porque buscaba generar cambios, y estos cambios, como ella sostenía en sus cartas, buscaba modificar su sociedad. Era contemplativa en acción y por lo tanto su idea de estar con los pobres y a su opción por los grupos subalternos hizo que creara un espacio de igualdad y de libertad donde los privilegios prácticamente desaparecían.
A los 15 años tomó el nombre de María Antonia de San José, sellando con ello un vínculo de unión con Dios. La amabilidad de los días transcurridos en el convento de los Jesuitas, entre los quehaceres cotidianos, la asistencia a sus próximos y los momentos de lectura y de introspección, terminaron abruptamente la fatídica noche del 9 de agosto de 1767 con la orden de expulsión de la compañía.
Los jesuitas eran una orden que influía mucho en la población y era una población que estaba gestando un espíritu criollo y americano justamente por haberse sentido influenciados por las ideas de libertad de los jesuitas. Entonces, expulsarlos era como un mecanismo eficaz y seguro para cortar esa influencia jesuita en la población.
La soledad nubló el espíritu de María Antonia, mas haciendo suyas las enseñanzas de Ignacio, puso en tensión la idea de libertad y de discernimiento tantas veces en juego durante la práctica de los ejercicios espirituales, y el desamparo no tardó en transformarse en acción. Obediente, mas no sumisa, aprendió que transgredir no es pecar, si en ello va el compromiso con el prójimo.
Some information of Mama Antula. I'm sorry that is in Spanish for all those who don't speak Spanish, but you can. I will try to see if I find a video. But we're gonna have Gus come on now, my guest, and we can talk about Mama Antula all night. So let's get him on the show. Let's see. Hey Gus, how are you today?
I am doing very well,
Closer.
and you?
There we go. I'm good. I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So let's
Good.
talk about Mama Antula. I never heard of her before. You told me about her, and now I'm just so intrigued about everything about her and you know, how did she start this? I mean, she started this journey a long time ago, but you've been following her and your family. You're related to her, right? Somehow.
Right. Yes. My cousin does all the genealogy, so he's known about her for many, many years, and and he has shared it with the rest of the family, the whole lineage, how it came to be. It comes from my mother's father's side, but it's obviously up generations up there because she was born in 1730. The amazing thing about this woman is that by the time she was 15, back in those days, they married you off at a very young age. And she stood up to her father and basically said, I'm neither going to get married nor am I going to be a nun, because that was what was expected of you. Either you get married or be a nun. And she came from a very wealthy family, very well-to-do, a named family. And she moved herself into a place that most people are trying to go from poor to rich, not from rich to poor. But this is who she was. She was like a real maverick of that time. Her straightforward personality going to get the job done. And I've had now the pleasure to know that she has become, one of my guardian angels. And with that, as of recent, I have started channeling her. I've been channeling for many, many years, but this has taken it, the veil to another level. It's letting me see further through the veil. She's really helped me so that I'm in a place to say, okay, how can I help you? What are the dysfunctions that are going on here? How can we create that environment so that, I just got done with a session just now with many complexities that the person has, and we did some healing and some alleviation of some stuff. And now she's got, okay, you need these herbs, you need that, you need to purge your intestinal tract, you need to get rid of the parasites that are right now eating into the entities that are like going in and feeding off of these massive parasites that she has, that is creating craziness in the person's head. So that has allowed me to get that awareness of, okay, what's going on with you that is causing your mind to misfire, to dysfunction,
Right.
to become a trap. You're trapped in your own mind. So that's the beauty of being able to channel somebody like that has I don't know, that's that powerful. I
Right.
didn't even
Well,
realize how powerful she was.
Just so many people who are out there some people are religious. We had this
Mhm.
conversation before. So I grew up in a
Sure.
Catholic household. I grew up with a lot of faith in God, and but there's very different levels, right? Because there's a religion, there's there's doctrination, there's so many different things. So I just want people to understand exactly what channeling is, and so that way people who don't know can understand.
Okay. What it is this. God gave us all of these tools. For most people, they're pretty dormant. They're not there. But you have to understand that God is everywhere. There's one God and he's everywhere. He's in the entire universe all at once. Okay. And he's included. Where is God in you? He's in your soul. Okay. So he is in your soul. So that makes you mighty because you're God's creation. And, you're carrying that soul. This physical body right here and now is carrying that soul. That's what makes you mighty. There is nothing in any religion that can say otherwise, but they all go to one God regardless, and we all come from that creation. And, we are tooled up, and I can give you an example. I was also raised Catholic, but why is it that only a priest can do an exorcism? An exorcism is removing energies from a person's body. You can't see them, but they might have demonic issues going on, and they do exorcisms. Okay, so but the truth of the matter is that anybody can do an exorcism. You may have to be a little trained and get get the wiring done correctly, so that you can understand what it is that the person needs, and you help them release those entities or demonic forces that are in them.
Right. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that people don't understand in the
Yeah.
spiritual world, There's a lot of different things. And talking about, you said exorcism. So back in the 90s, I was going to this like radical Christian church in California, and there were a lot of guys that were they were recovering alcoholics or addicts or in prison, and they were big guys, and we were like a street team. So they had t-shirts, and we would go out in the street and minister to people. So I was one of those in the street. Hey, praise Jesus, how you doing? God bless you, being real radical in my day, driving my family thought I was crazy. So but I was just doing good things. It was just that I was outspoken about it, right? I was like,
Right.
so my heart was just so for the love of God that I was just really out there. So one day we went to the park, and we started just some people there, and there was a young man, and he looked like he had like a mental issue. Okay. And they started talking to him, and they said, would you like us to pray for you? And the guys went around him and they laid hands on him. And that man, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything. I was scared, but I know God was going to protect me. But that man had something in him that they had about 4 or 5 of us laying hands on him, and I could see the change in him. Like it was fighting whatever it was, and then it released. And I was
Right.
like, wow. Like it really, like that bad energy just left him. I mean, I have goosebumps talking about it because it was so real. And it happened to me another time, a close friend of mine, this was really God, because I was home. He had left. It was a roommate of mine. He left and he wasn't feeling good. He said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't feel good. So I was at the house, and he was gone for a while, and he was just going to go to the store. And I'm like, it's been half an hour. So now I started sitting there, and God was telling me, pray, something's wrong. Like, pray for him. So I started praying for him. And when he came back, I was like really scared. Like I was afraid for his life, like he was going to do something. And when he got back to the house, he goes, I'm not okay. And I didn't let him come into the house. I let him stay outside, and I laid hands on him, and I started praying. And as I was praying with him, I felt like something pushed me, like was a force in between, like a push. And I was like, I'm like, no, in Jesus' name and God, whatever it is here, he's a child of God, and you're going to release him. And then it was like, but it was like, I got pushed. I literally got like pushed back, and I held on to him. And then it just went away, and he goes, thank you. That's all he said to me. Thank you. I felt this heaviness on me, and I got in the car. He said to me, I got in the car, and it was like my mind was telling me, that's it, give up, just kill yourself. That's what he told me. That he had something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I mean, these are entities that are vampiring our energies. I mean, I was just today with a person that has so many parasites, and the entities are feeding off of her parasites. You know, these are all called, these are like, a part of our dark side. I mean, we did come into this world as loving beings, okay? But, we have generational things that come, fears. Then, we get in socializing in the community from the very beginning of life. You know, our parents will say, no, 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 don't do this. No, don't do that. No. So the first word that somebody knows is no. It's even before mother or father. It's no, because that's the programming that we start receiving. Yes comes a lot further back. Even sometimes, when people say yes, I'm even guilty. Yes, no, yeah, and you say no, yes, or whatever it is. It's like the no's ahead of the yeses right after the no's. Whatever the case is, it's the programming. We are programmed, and that's where the fear starts coming in, because we come in here as loving human beings, and then all of a sudden we're tormented with these fears. And this is why, we have to work on our shadow self, the unloving parts of us. Nobody likes to look at that stuff, but it's something that we have to shine the light on to do away with it.
right, and it takes time. And I was talking to somebody else that says it's a 7 years of like generational curses, they say, right? It's like it goes 7 years deep. So if you think of your family line, I don't know how many people have been with had their grandparents or their great grandparents, that's already a couple of generations. But you still got to go further back. And even in the Bible, it talks about that, about as a new creature, as we're born into God with God's love, that we need to end that generational curse for our family to go forward. So I really believe I broke it. I broke it here in my generation. So my children
Right.
won't be afflicted. So their children won't be afflicted, and so on. Because you have to break the cycle. And
You do. You do. I mean, we decided to break the cycle. Me and you, okay, we're not going to run our kids through the same thing that we were run. My father was a military man, so it's not, it wasn't an easy house.
Oh, you were
Uh,
like always.
yeah, I mean, very strict and, so forth and so on. And my mother, a bit controlling. I mean, this is where we get a little bit of the, Mama Antula, they want to do things their own way. They're mavericks. Me, I don't like to be told what to do. Mama Antula didn't like to be told what
Me
to do. My
neither.
youngest daughter doesn't like
I
being
don't
told
like
what to do.
it.
She's, a total maverick. Now she says, "Oh, I want to go to the University of Buenos Aires." I said, "Well, I'm not prepared for that." You know what I mean? Uh, for you to leave this country, but this is the way, mavericks are. So Mama Antula, at 15 years of age, told her father, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to get married, nor am I going to become a nun." And then, shortly after, she left and started her pilgrimage. I mean, she really
So
did a
did she
job.
pilgrimage through Argentina
Yeah,
only, or
she went through Argentina all the way down to Buenos Aires to really, and she learned the language from the servants, because the indigenous servants, the dialect that they use to communicate, she learned, so she could speak to the native Indians
wow.
there in their language and help them. And, this is where they call her, she was coined the servant of God, because she was bringing God wherever she went.
So
And,
she was
and
she was passing her love and just showing
yes, she was
God's love
passing the
through
love.
her to other people so they could accept God as well and believe in him.
Right, right. And didn't discriminate, meaning she, in her exercises, in her spiritual exercises, the, what we call today meditation and stuff like that, in these spiritual exercises, she would include the slaves and the rich, owners, the slave owners and stuff like that. So they were all together, working to mesh the society together to show no inequalities. That was,
Mm.
part of her strength. to show no inequalities. I mean, considering that she came from an upper, and now she's, sacrificing herself. She walked all over the place like barefoot,
Wow.
bringing supplies and food. And sometimes there was shortage and, nobody was eating and that kind of stuff. But, yet she knew that the creator, the God that created all of us, had her back covered and, she was going to get what she needed.
Wow, so
And she
she
would.
just set off to do this pilgrimage with
Mhm.
God's faith
Right.
and said, let's just go to the village and
Let's go.
woo, she's
Yeah.
here. I got goosebumps
Yeah.
everywhere.
But that's where it's helpful when you have
I want to say
extreme
hi to
faith.
Rachel. Rachel's on. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Yeah. When you have that kind of extreme faith, it's more than faith. It's like a knowingness. That knowingness is so superior to beliefs and faith that nothing can shake that up. You know that something's going to happen. It's like, you turn on the TV, and you put your show on, it's going to come on. It's like that. It has that kind of power. It's not, I believe, but this blind faith in this. And that's very powerful. It helps you connect to God in a very significant way when you have a knowingness.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning. Like I said, I mean, I have faith, and you know me, I'm always learning every day, learning more things, and that's why I tell people on this show all the time, please have an open mindset. There's so
Mhm.
much in this world to learn. Okay, you
Correct.
can't be blindfold and only believe one path, because God is God. You can call him all these different names that we
Mhm.
call him. When we say the universe, when we say
Right.
divine
Spirit.
light, it's God.
Yes.
It's God.
Right.
There's only one
Correct.
God. Don't get confused. It's
Right.
just people have different names for him. Other countries have different names for him in different
Correct.
languages. They call him differently, but it's the same God. And if you study all different types of religions, right, that are in established now, they all have a foundation. It's all the same. It's the same one God. Okay, of course there's other weirdness, some weirdness out there, but you know what I mean, that it's faith in God. And if any of you out there, most people have faith. There's a lot of people that don't understand it. They weren't raised with it. They don't understand, what are you talking about? You praying to God, I know myself, God has saved me so many times in my life. I feel like a cat. Okay, cat have 9 lives, so he's giving me a few extra because let me
Yeah.
tell you, I've already gone to about 4. All right, so
Right.
so
And
but and I joke about it, but it's not. It's the thing is, I had so much faith in the time that I was suffering and going through a really bad state of my life, and I'll tell it again. When I had my stroke, I was sleeping. Okay. I was sleeping. It was in the middle of the night, like maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the morning or something. And I literally, what woke me up was God, because I woke up with a dream. And in my dream, I saw myself in a hospital bed. And the doctor said, Miss Hernandez, you just had a stroke. That's exactly how I woke up. And I opened my eyes and I go, did I just have a stroke? Did I have a heart attack? What's going on? And I always remember to this day, 7 years ago, that God had to wake me up in that time, to wake me up enough time for me to get to the hospital. And thank goodness I have recovered from the loss that I had 7 years ago. So I had enough. He saved me again. I mean, if I would have kept sleeping, who knows? Right? When you have a stroke,
Absolutely.
You never know what happens. Hi, Peter. You just never know, what happens. A lot of people have had strokes and they can't recover.
You can
I just
recover.
talked to somebody the other day that said, a friend of mine had a stroke and it's been 1.5 years and he's still walking with a cane and struggling.
Right.
But I
And
find that it's your will. You're also your will. You have to have that strength
absolutely.
to
And strokes can
keep
be
going.
life-changing completely. They can have you revisit your entire life and say, okay, I like this, but I don't like that, and I don't like that other thing. So I am making those changes, and I'm moving forward, and I'm getting on a path. And,
Yep.
those are the questions that we need to ask if we're looking to find that inner peace is, not to hold on to everything that we're told to do. I mean, really, at the end of the day, the thought is this: we tend to move around based on what a lot of other people think. Oh, well, people think that, what's this person going to think if I do this? Or what's that person? Or what's my mother? Or what's my father? Or my sister? Or my kids? You know, what are they going to think if I do this, that, or the other thing? But the truth of the matter at the end of the day is you have to make yourself happy. So what anybody thinks of you, and I mean it, what anybody thinks of you is none of your business. What you think of yourself is all of your business. So, you can't worry. Those are become dysfunctional people pleasers. That, oh, no, and I got to help this person. I got to help. And you know what? At the end of the day, you need to be just loving, because the people pleasers just never, get any satisfaction back. They satisfy this person, but then this other person says, "Oh, you didn't help me the way and it just goes around. So the thing is, this is to find that inner peace without taking things, so personal. The minute that we can let go things more easily, the more connected we are with God, with the soul that's actually within us. That, I don't know if anybody has experienced death right there in front of them. You can actually see the soul move away from the body. That's how you really know that you're infinite. That you're infinite.
I didn't see that. I did have 3 people die in front of me, like their last breath. And
Right.
I know when my father passed away, I was in hospice. And let me just tell you, I have to tell you that experience. So I'm in the hospice room with him, and he's getting close. We don't know when he's going to pass. It was a Tuesday night at about Tuesday, 2 in the morning. So Wednesday, right? Like 2 in the morning. And the nurse says to me, why don't you go get a tea outside? We're going to make your father comfortable, clean him up, change the bedding, just check on him. There are angels there, right? So
Right.
I leave the room, and I'm sitting in the lobby area having my tea, and I hear the buzzers, when the alarms go off, like if somebody has a buzz, like beep, 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 like loud. And I see the nurses kind of going like, what's going on? Everything lit up, and then everything shut off. So I'm like, what's going on? So I go back to the room, and the nurse says to me, do you believe in God? And I go, yes. He said, well, I was doing everything here. Your father just passed. And I was like, what? And he says, and just right before that, all the lights turned on in the room. Everything was flashing in the room. All the energy, everything was flashing.
Right.
And then they shut down, and he passed. Like his spirit left,
That's
everything.
it.
And then I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? And then I ran over to my father, and he was gone. He was gone. But that happened right before. So I'm like, there's things like that happen that his spirit left. And I was peaceful when he died, because I spoke to him, and I told him, because he could hear me, right, but couldn't talk anymore. And I told him I
Yes.
loved him, that I forgave him, that there's nothing, that you can go in peace, that your daughters are good,
Right.
and that all your grandchildren are good, and that everything will be fine. So he would leave with peace of mind, So I hope that happens,
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, hey, listen, we can hear everything, even though people don't think that they can. They can. And we're out of our body every single night, whether people know it or not. Once you sleep, you're going out of body. You just don't remember, much, or what went on, or anything for that matter. But that's we do travel. I mean,
Yeah.
within the body, and this is why this body is not permanent. But we do have to take care of it while we're still here. We do have to be conscious of the vehicle that's carrying us to different places and doing service to us. We are giving it orders. So, sometimes we really need to be, I mean, myself included, more conscious of what I'm putting in my mouth, because I know that this machinery, I got to keep it going for the time that I'm here. And I certainly don't want to be a burden to somebody else. Certainly not my kids.
Yeah, exactly. And
One, I
that's
don't want to
all.
outlive them, but 2, I certainly don't want to be a burden to them in my, you know, old age, you know?
Exactly, exactly.
Right
No,
now,
and
you know,
I understand that, and that's why we always talk about health, and we talk
right,
about, watching what you eat. There's so many natural things. Anything that's a plant has medicine. Okay,
right,
anything that's made by God, all these plants outside. I walk around just even Boca, and you find mangoes, avocados, star fruit, tamarind, you find I don't even know what else, coconuts, right? I wish I could cut down the coconuts, but I can't cut them down. I don't have a big machete. I need a big one of those big knives to cut them. But
right.
there's so many things out there, so we have to take care of our body, or what they always say, this is our temple. Our body's our temple, and we have
Correct.
to respect that body. And the same thing, men, women, when you give yourself to another person, it's very,
Right.
very, you know
It's true.
important that you protect yourself, who you're with, because that's
Right.
another thing. That's another connection, right? When you have sexual relations with a person, there's a connection now, right?
Of course. Of course.
So there's a connection with that other person now. So you
Of
have to
course.
be really careful who you sleep with, and so on and so forth. And then as you not with that person anymore, I know you have to do things to like separate again
Right.
from that. I mean, it's a whole, it's complicated, but.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. Um,
So I don't
what
know. There's a couple of people on. I don't know whoever's on. If you want to put any comments, or if you want to get in tune with Mama Antula, Gus is
if you want
here.
to answer, you want a few questions answered, we'll see what Mama Antula has to say.
Exactly. So if anybody out there wants to ask a question or something going on in their life, just put it
Put
in
your
the
first
chat.
name and the question.
First name and question. So just let me know. And this is, I like, this is the first I heard of Mama Antula. Actually, I know
Right.
you're from Argentina, so you knew about this. But do we have any other? She's the first Argentinian female
Yeah,
saint.
she's the only saint
She's
from
the only
Argentina.
saint. She's the only saint
Right.
from Argentina. And do we
Right.
have, besides Saint Joan of Arc, do we have any other saints that are women?
Yeah, from Mexico,
Oh, Guadalupe.
for Guadalupe. Yes.
Okay.
And people
So
pray to her all the time.
yeah, I
All
never
the time.
I didn't understand that, because, when you go from Catholic church to Christian church, and then another, they start telling, oh, you don't believe in the saints, and you don't worship this, and they do all these different things, and it messes with your head. You don't know what to do.
Right. Well, these people, depending, I mean, when I look at them, they're ascended masters. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter religion or not religion, because Mama Antula was not a nun. Okay, and but she made popular what nuns wear today. You look at her and you think she's a nun.
Yeah,
She
she has a
wasn't a
habit.
nun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first I'm
And she
looking
had
at.
the I guess the cross on her that she walked with. But no, I mean, she was somebody that was, working to educate and feed and bring God
That's her
into
picture.
people's lives that were otherwise not having any of that in a time in a very wild, dangerous terrain. So you got to give her a lot of credit for going out there, and doing this kind of stuff. Most people won't get up from their comfortable, wealthy household and, move into that kind of terrain,
Exactly,
Usually,
exactly. And she was young, so how did
so, yeah.
she, I mean, I haven't said the whole history, but what happened when she was 15? She decided, I'm not marrying anybody you want. No, and I'm not becoming a nun. I'm just gonna go do my
Right,
my pilgrimage,
right. She
and do
even
the
defied the Spanish crown. I mean, basically, and was pushing the priests and bishops to Jesuits. The Jesuits are very nonconformist type Catholic. They're indifferent, you know. So they're I don't know. I would say that they're modern day type of a priest. They're more open, more open-minded. So she was able to convince the priests and the bishops to, still allow her to do her spiritual exercises, the meditations and so forth and so on, and to bring that, to everybody, around, especially the totally underprivileged, the, you know, holes where there was nobody would go. She would go. A little bit like
And that's
Mother
the thing
Teresa.
now too, right? People
What?
don't go, that people now don't go to those places either, where the poor
Yeah.
is. That's where you're supposed to go, right? God said to feed the poor, you know, to feed the hungry and clothe the naked and so on. And that's supposed to be what we're supposed to do, be kind and have love in our hearts to help other people. I
Right.
tell the people out there, if you have extra clothes you don't want and shoes, put it in a bag. Put like a pair of jeans, a shirt, a couple of t-shirts, and shoes. And if you see somebody in the street that's homeless, just give them the bag. Okay, I see people in the street have no shoes, no clothes. People treat homeless people like they're foreign, like they're an animal. They're human beings. They're just like you and me. One of us could be homeless. Like they say, we're one paycheck away from being homeless. A lot of people are
Right.
like that. So,
It's true. And, you know, unfortunately, I mean, I used to bring a lot of clothes to, you know, my housekeeper. She's Bolivian. And so she could bring clothes to Bolivia. You know, the kids' clothes, my clothes, whatever. You know, whatever you're not wearing on a regular, it doesn't matter if it's new or not. It's if you're not putting it on a regular basis, it shouldn't stay in your closet. And I did that also for Venezuelans because I know, you know, whether it's sadly like over 90% of the country is poor in Venezuela because of the socialist agendas that they have. It's an impoverished, an extremely wealthy nation. When I used to travel down there to import, extremely wealthy nation, and it crumbled to no end. Same with Argentina, extremely wealthy nation, but the socialist, expansionist, government expansionists have, you know, bankrupt the place. Now you have a guy like Milei, the president of Argentina, that has, they call him the gray man. He has actually been divinely chosen to make changes throughout Latin America. And already in 3 months, you're seeing dramatic changes take place. So they're asking for him, somebody similar to him in other countries throughout, you know, Latin America, even, you know, in Japan. I mean, it's going as far up as Japan, in Spain. I mean, you know, in all these places, they want a Malay there that speaks the truth to them. You know, unfortunately, we're so accustomed to people, you know, being just politicians and not speaking the truth. And, you know, even exposing the votes, you know what it is to have somebody saying, okay, your representative here voted against your life in this, and this is all making it all public notice. And this is what we need here. We need that really transparency.
God, please, don't even go there.
Right.
You know,
Let's
it's
not go
so
into
bad.
politics, but we need to have transparency because we tend to put people that are not of the people. And we want to be with the people, of the people. We want to be communal. That's the whole idea of, you know, the work that we do here is to be communal. You know, let us be the people we're supposed to be, you know.
Right. And the thing is that I met you, I met Rachel, I met so many great people the last 2 years that have really affected my life in a positive way. And that's why I tell people, be open-minded. You're going to meet people that are just unbelievable. You need to meet people that have like-minded like you are, that you want love in your heart, that you can give kindness to people. Once you get to that point, because this is the way I feel right now, I feel like I've gotten to a point that I have peace in my heart. That it's taking me a lifetime to get. Okay, because I've gotten rid of all the baggage. I've, you know, deprogramming the subconscious and things that I've gone through, and getting rid of all that stuff and renewing myself. So I feel like I'm a different person now because I got rid of all this baggage.
Yeah.
And
I mean, those are two. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying there's still stuff there, but you know.
Oh, there's always stuff. We're working this till the day we go. I mean, there is no such thing. The earth is a place for lessons, but we got to learn them. So if we want to have more inner peace, that means that we have to learn these lessons. So if somebody mistreats us, how many times do we want that person to mistreat us? I mean, God didn't put us in here. We have free will and free choice, but he didn't put us in here so we get whipped all the time. No, you may get whipped, but learn from whatever whippings you got. Now, see if you can look at somebody who's going to celebrate you, not tolerate you. We want to be celebrated, not tolerated. We want to be loved. We don't want to be somebody, is in our face saying this, that to us and being unkind to us.
Exactly.
Who needs that? Who needs that? That's stress. That's more cortisol. We age faster. We get weaker, so I'm not saying that don't resolve issues and lessons in life with people that are confronting us, but nonetheless, do we really want to be in front of them on a regular basis? I don't. I know that I don't.
That's why we go through like a purging, right? We go through a
Mhm.
purging in life, and as you become more loving to yourself, you
Correct.
start realizing that the people around you, are they good for you? Are they not good for you? Oh, does that person help me or give me problems? And it's taken me a long time, but we've done that. Like JC and I had to purge people. We had to say, I can't be
Correct.
friends with you because I just can't. We're
not.
not. We're not in sync. You're in a different path, and I can't do it. It's the same. I mean, it's a premise like when you have a drug or alcohol problem, you can't be with those people. If you're recovering from that,
Correct.
you can't be with those people that were in your life as an alcoholic, right? You have to separate, get new friends that are going to aid you to the right direction. So there's a lot of toxic people out there. And some people will listen, and some people are open to get healing, right? And others aren't.
Correct. I mean, I will tell you this. I can tell you firsthand because I was hired as a subcontractor for, drug rehab clinics to implement 9 steps to a healthy mind, which is a modality that I created in heart conscious therapies. And I will tell you this, when people started to get better, the ones that did want to, because we wanted to get people that were having opioid addictions back to work so they could start living normal lives without relapsing. And what I did find is that sometimes, 2 people were together and they were fine, but after one of them got better, they said, what am I doing here with this person? This person's so depressed and it's not conducive to my life and this and that and the other thing. And all of a sudden you are vibrating at a higher level and this person's still vibrating at that lower level. And you now no longer have a connection with them. They're no longer in alignment. And you need to move on and find somebody that's at a higher level that you're in, that you have. It's better to, if you're looking for a mate, let's get just, I'm
Right.
getting off track a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life or somebody, here and now, you want the person to be at least this level, at least your level. If not, actually a little higher, a little better, not so far where the connection's not going to be there. Or, if it has to be a little lower, but they're working on themselves, because people come and say, well, they ask me, when am I going to meet the love of my life? And then the first question that I got to ask, are you the love of your life? Because if you're not the love of your life, you're
not
having
gonna get one.
expectations. He's got to be good looking. He's got to be thin. He's got to be muscular. He's got to have a big wallet, and on and on and on. And I'm just giving some superficial stuff. But then you have to look at you. How many of these things are you? Are you kind? Are you thoughtful? Are you generous? Are you giving? Are you non-manipulative? Are you drama oriented? Are you not? I mean, that's the whole thing. So drama feeds on drama.
Oh yeah.
The first thing that people say, I don't like drama. And then the next minute, that they're about drama. It's like the person when you think of the psychology, the energetic psychology. Okay, when somebody says to you, I mean, have you ever heard this, Alida? Somebody say to you, I'm not judging, but
Yeah.
then they say, but the minute they
but.
say that, but what
That's
comes
it.
out of their mouth after that, it's all judgment. There's
Yep.
no such thing as non-judgment. I'm not judging, but So what is that? That must be, it's not judgment. It's got to be a heavy opinion that you got there,
That's
kind of
when you
thing
have
like
to,
that.
yeah. That's one thing, I guess it's conditioning, right? Again, it's all this stuff that we've
Conditioning.
learned and we hear, we see on TV. I mean, TV is toxic. There's so many things on
Yeah.
television that are so bad. I can't even things that I used to watch before. I have
Right.
my aunt and my mother watch like these cop shows and other stuff that, nasty stuff happen on the TV, right? And I'm like, please change the channel. I
Yeah.
can't. It bothers me. It just bothers me. I don't need to see evil on the television. I'd rather watch a cartoon with something happy. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Some comedy or something like that, or,
Exactly. I'd rather be
or some
laughing.
romance or something like that. Yeah.
I don't even watch that much television anymore just because of that.
Yeah.
Because I find it disturbing.
Right.
And it got to I used to watch TV all the time. But as you change, as you grow inside and you realize that the things that matter before don't matter anymore. Like watching a
No.
TV program, I'm not going to lose my mind because I watch some show. I don't watch soap operas. I don't want anything that I have to be somewhere at a certain time to watch TV. I don't do that. Okay.
Right.
I
Right.
don't do that. I'd
But
rather listen to some.
it's, we're living in a different society, and we have to go back to having some values. There's got to be some values. We can't live in this woke society and expect to still have a country. This is basically what happened to Argentina. They became very woke, and false narratives, fake news, whatever you call it. Just the president just the other day, I got caught with fake news. So I thought that this was real. I got caught with fake news. Now I'm making a public disclosing. I apologize. This is what took place. So, but we don't seem to do the corrections here, and we're caught with false narratives all the time. And if we are going to be open-minded and real with ourselves, like with anything else, and I'll use the news for a second there, if you're not capable of listening, if you're not capable of listening to a true independent news channel where they're not pumping up your guy, and I'm not talking about one side or the other, they're not
Right.
just constantly pumping up your guy and cutting down the other guy, okay, you're not watching real news.
Exactly.
And I don't care which
Exactly.
side of the fence you're in. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. You're not watching real news.
No.
You're unwilling to see things the way they really are. So you have to be able to sit there and say, okay, they're talking about my side. They're not talking that well about my side, but let me investigate a little bit. It looks like to be true. And then the next minute, that independent, individual that's giving the news is saying, something about the other guy.
Right.
And
Right.
and the not so good things about them. And if you're one of those guys that are now not, yeah, that's the guy cheering on, cheering the thing on. Yeah, you're the bad guy. But my guy, the bad things were said, he's not the bad guy,
Yeah.
So, and we get caught up in that. And journaling is just, this is where we're becoming dysfunctional, and we are losing our community. We're supposed to be all inclusive. We're supposed to come together in a loving way. Not,
Right.
you're a white supremacist, you're gay,
Right.
whatever the hell it is.
There's a separation. People have
Yeah.
been separated now by categories. You
By
go over here,
categories.
you go over here, you go over here. And it's terrible because we all have red blood running through our veins. We're all human
Correct.
beings. We're all
Correct.
creatures of God. So we should love each other.
Exactly.
It doesn't
Exactly.
matter
And
what
that
color
was
you
the whole
are,
point.
what you do. It just, we're just kindness. And we can just
Right.
spread kindness
Kindness.
and love. We would be
Right.
so much better world. Okay.
Right. And this
It's-
is where, somebody like Mother Antula was bringing people together. Here, the very wealthy, landowners and the slaves, and they came together. They were all even. Basically, when she was gathering and doing these exercises, everybody was the same. And it doesn't matter. We're all, descendants of God. We are all created by God. So nothing makes us different. It doesn't matter where you came from. Yellow, brown, black, white,
Doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't,
It doesn't
Brown,
matter.
it doesn't matter, not in the least. All the
No.
blood is running red from us. And once we start having, factions of this or that or the other thing, then we are breaking apart society and we are breaking our community. We can come all and interact with one another, and it doesn't matter where you came from. You're Jewish, you're Catholic, you're Muslim, whatever it is.
Doesn't matter.
What matters is, are you nice? Are you a kind person? Do you have a loving heart? Are you willing to help others? That's what matters. Everything else is just a judgment, and it causes separation. I mean, I'm guilty of some of the judgment because it runs a little bit of my family. I got to continue to correct myself. The
We
thought.
catch ourselves. Like I would say I was more before than
Oh,
I
me
am
too.
now, because I'm more aware of it, and I think God
Correct.
has given. I have more love in my heart that I could see a little different. And when I had the studio in Fort Lauderdale, we had homeless, kind of a little issue around the area. So instead of making a big, huge deal of it, some of them I was able to speak to, and I would help them. So they would take out my garbage. I gave them $5, $10. They were happy. When we had extra food, I gave them the food. At the end of the party, we had all this food. Come here, come and get the food. And we gave them the food. So, and a lot of times we were clothes. JC brought clothes, gave it to the guy. I brought clothes too. It doesn't cost anything for you to be nice. It doesn't cost anything. And you will feel so much better about yourself of doing something, and it's not a point system, because I hate that. Also, I don't like that word, but I don't like that. I remember in some churches they would say, "Oh, you have to do so much, like you have a big, you know what I mean? Like there's a big barrel and you're putting your tickets in there for all the good things you do." No,
No,
not
hey,
like that.
listen, you do what you can and don't expect anything. You do it with a gracious heart. You do it with gratitude. Those people that expect, they're actually bringing karma into themselves. So you do it without expectation. Going into that, I just met just recently this woman, Erica Nevermore, and I'm, joining her group, and I want to give quickly her website, because I will be available there to answer questions that somebody might have over family members, relationships, business, where they want to go, basically downloading, Mama Antula, and Mama Antula is giving you all the answers that I'm picking up. And it's nevermorespiritualism.com. And Erica is a very sweet woman, and I connected with her. She's got a very loving heart. She has suffered from some illnesses, but she's coming back, and she's very giving, very, very giving. I got to meet her about a week and a half ago, and it was a real pleasure. I said, "This is like a home. This is like a community." Her fare was like so inclusive, and I think everybody was happy. Nobody felt that they were competing against one another. That's what makes life different. When we start creating all the separationism, okay? Oh, if he has some, I don't have some. Meaning, like there's not enough to go around. Well, this universe is
There's not enough
infinite.
jelly beans, huh? There's not enough
There's
jelly
not
beans
enough
for
jelly
everybody.
beans. And this is what creates separation. And if this person's for you, and this person's going to give you an intuitive reading with this person, great. If you resonate with that person, this person's going to do a healing, that's not you. Be happy for them. Don't say, "Oh, Jesus, I can't believe it took me up instead of, went to that." So we want to
Yeah.
create that environment of thoughtfulness, kindness, mindfulness. And so it comes back to us. But when we do it, with sincerity, when we're like bone crushing honest with doing it, I want to give this, but I got to get something back. I got to
Right.
really get something back. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. And it's also almost like praying, when they pray, like, now praying to Mama Antula, listen, Mama Antula, help me with this situation. It's really bad. And I promise I won't do this stuff again. You know what I mean? You're not putting conditions on your
Right,
prayer.
yeah, you can't put a
I mean,
condition.
come on,
Uh,
please. Your conditional prayer. I promise I
no.
won't do this again. Please make this go away. Make it
But you
happen
never
now.
say, interesting, when you say a prayer like that, you never say, and if I don't do it, strike me down or something. You never say anything like what the action if you don't go through it, right? You just say, I
Right.
won't do it, I won't do it. I promise, Hey, Rachel wants to know if she's gonna be able to move out before or by September.
By September, let me see. It doesn't look like a yes. It's a no.
It's a no right now, Rachel.
Yeah, Mama Antula says no.
Sorry. We're working on
You
that.
have another question? I'd be glad to answer. I'd be glad
Any
to have
more
Mama
questions?
Antula answer.
Oh, wow. So I think I was going to ask a question, but I think I already know the answer to the question because I think she's telling me already. Because my question was, will I find my house on Saturday? Because, I'm buying a new house.
Well, let's do this. You did a great job of manifesting the sale of your house, so there's nothing that says that you can't move that energy. The thing about energy, okay, when you're talking about futuristic stuff, like I just gave Rachel an answer from Mama Antula, but she might take steps because she says, no, I want to get the hell out by September. She might now take some strong steps to say, no, I'm moving out in the very near future. It doesn't matter whether it's August, September, October, or November. I am getting out, and I'm making a conscious decision to move in this direction. So we can be going in this direction. When anybody gives you a reading, it's a probable future.
Okay.
There's no guarantees. I can tell you about somebody in the present moment. I can tell you characteristics because that's who they are. I can tell you things about the past, but I can't say to you with 100% accuracy the future because you move 1 degree in another direction and you're ending up
change it.
in another place. You're not ending up in the same place. You might have been going this way. Now you decided to move this way. Now you're going like that.
So we
It's
were talking
different.
about this yesterday too, about that show Quantum Leap, right? And the guy
Mhm.
time travels. And I saw last week's episode and how the guy traveled in time and met somebody and kept running into the same person in different time zones, like, in different scenarios. So because of that, he affected the time, the life of her son. So the son landed up being very hateful and hating this man until he found him in the future. You know what I mean? It was interesting. But what I'm saying is that when you're in life, you change your destiny, right? You change the time frame of the future.
Correct.
So
and we all have that capability. I mean, you want to know, will you find a house when you go up?
I know I'm going to find a house. I know there's
You're
a
going to
house that's
find
going
a
to be
house
there.
because you're determined. You've made it. It's you. You put the energy out there saying a house is coming to me.
Oh,
Let's see if the
I
probability.
I already said God has found my house and is waiting for me.
You're gonna. It looks like you're gonna find it. It looks like you're gonna find it sooner rather than later. That's what Mama Antula is saying. So don't panic.
Oh, I'm not. I'm good. I'm having faith. I prayed and I said, I know the exact house that we need will be there for the right amount of money, and everything is going to work out. I mean, so far everything's been amazing. I have to say I'm very grateful and I have, a lot of gratitude because I'm staying steadfast in my faith and taking time to meditate and pray and understanding more, of what we can control in our life. And once you have your mindset, like I've had my mindset, we were selling our house. We sold our house. We actually had an offer about a month and a half ago, and I didn't take it. Okay, not doing the numbers right. So I could have had my house would have been sold a month and a half ago. Okay, but it's all timing. So it's all God's timing. So it didn't happen then, but it happened now, and now we can proceed to find our new home. So
exactly.
But how much? Anything else you want to tell me about Mama Antula? What else can you tell us about her?
Well,
I mean, she cured. I know she healed a man who had a stroke. In
Well, you got to
2017, there were
remember this. There's a lot of miracles, but they have to be able to 100% document these miracles, even though there was a ton of, that's why there's so many people praying to her, because there was a lot of miracles, but they can only go by the documented, the
right. They have
documented,
certain things
verifiable miracles.
documented. Right. They
Right,
have certain
right,
things that are documented, and
yeah,
they say why she became a
correct.
saint because she accomplished these. People prayed to her, and then these people were healed. One person had
People
an
will heal,
incurable
yeah,
disease, and he was healed, and the doctors couldn't figure out why. He went to the
right.
doctor, and he was completely healed. And they told him, "There's nothing we can do." And he
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
amazing. This
so.
universe is infinite, so there's always something that can be done until, until you
I've
pass.
seen people being healed. I've been to many churches, and everybody does it differently, right? Everybody has
Mhm.
their way of
And
doing things.
there's no wrong way. People can embrace religion and have no problem if they have conviction that they know God. Then their prayers can also come true. As long as they don't come conditionally. If you do this for me, I promise I'll be better doing that. I won't do that again. No,
There's
you
no
can't pray like that. That's not heard.
no
That'll never be heard. But
no.
they always put conditions. And then, of course, if something good happens, I didn't need it. So the hell with it. I'm going to do the same crap that I did before. So, I don't know. I don't know. We have to have gratitude. Whatever it is that
Gratitude
we
is
ask for with
yes.
gratitude and know that we are, that we're receiving it, that we received it, and that we have it, because at the end of the day, it's our peace is in here, not out there. People think I buy
Exactly.
this, I'm going to be happy. I mean, how many times, people say, well, that's the car I needed to buy, and that's what's going to make me happy. And you know what? It was good for a little while. After a while, that car is it's just wheels. And now I
Oh,
need my
trust me.
next car, and I got to change. I'm bored, whatever the case is. So we can get very materialistic. We're living in a society where we become very materialistic. I rather use my money to travel than to buy one object after another. Before you know it, you compiled a lot of stuff.
Oh,
And
please.
yeah, and if
Oh.
you, yeah,
Let's talk about stuff. So
right,
I had a townhouse, sold that townhouse. All half the stuff that was there is in storage. Then I have a house now that I have a 3-bedroom house that's 2,400 square feet, and we are downsizing 1,000 square feet less. Okay. So we are not going tiny, but even though I love the tiny house movement, I love that thing. I love the shows about the little tiny houses, but because there's too many of us, we can't have a tiny house. But we are
yeah,
getting a smaller house, but with a lot of land. I want less house, and I want half an acre because I want to be outside in nature.
right.
And there's a couple of houses at least where we're going. There's a lot of oak trees. So I'm hoping this big oak tree. I need a nice big oak tree in my backyard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So your perspectives of life changes when your heart changes. When your heart changes, then you
Correct.
realize what's important in your life. Right now, my importance is my family, my very close friends. That's my importance of life. It's keeping my family together, my mother, my aunt, taking care of them, and just living a tranquil, peaceful life, basically.
Correct.
You know. So,
Correct.
but this was awesome. Gus, we didn't have too many people ask questions today, but it's all
Mm.
good. Everybody, Gus is available. We discuss it. We've had Gus on here, 3 times now, I believe. And we
I think
talked,
three or four.
I think it's the third time. We
Mhm.
discuss, we have about diet prison. We went through that he
Correct.
has a program that if you really, really want to change your life and you want to get rid of the extra weight that you're carrying, and the emotional baggage that's tied to that, you need to reprogram your subconscious mind for all these things we've been trained, how we thought about food. We talked about this, about, some people grew up that the mother would say, oh, you can't get up from the table unless you finish all the food on your plate. Okay. Now if she served you a small plate of food, you'll be okay. But
Right.
we have this tendency in our society to give these humongous plates of food and expect a child who may be 10 years old eat a
To
portion
consume
for a
more.
200-pound man.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. And they're using things like, the starving kids in Africa, whatever the case is, to guilt you into do that. And guilt and shame is one of the lowest vibrations
Ugh,
that you can have. And we don't want that. And that's a lot in some of the religions. They have a lot of guilt and shame. And you know what? That internalizes and it becomes part of your hard drive. And then, that's why I've developed 9 Steps to a Healthy Mind, heart conscious therapies, to pull these harmful negative energies out of it, get out of our shadow self, the darkness that's within us. Now that darkness, where did that darkness came? It was indoctrinated by somebody, who was an authority when we were kids, when we were not an authority, and we were a sponge absorbing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then we don't know why we have these dysfunctions and why so many people are taking, antidepressants, anti-anxiety pills, and so forth and so on, and they can't find inner peace. They can't sleep well. There's just a ton of people that don't sleep well.
Oh my gosh, I used to have the worst sleep, Gus. I used to be so bad. I couldn't sleep at night and it was getting, I had to change my habits because one of the things too, when you sleep, don't have this phone near you. You can't
That's
have
right.
your telephone. They say that at least an hour, if not more, before you go
Correct.
to bed, disconnect from electronics, the phone, the TV,
If you want, read a little bit. Read. That will help you, decompress. Read. If you can read a spiritual book, the better. Sometimes just able to disconnect so your chattering mind goes away.
right,
Um,
right. And it takes a while. You have to train yourself. But again, it's everything like that. It's a habit. Once you get into a habit and you start
You gotta
reprogramming
build
your subconscious
habits.
mind, then you don't think about it anymore. Now, a lot of times now I hit the pillow. I'm done. I'm like
Right.
done.
Right.
Sometimes I fall asleep. How many times have I fallen asleep like this? I'm looking at the phone. Boom. I get
Yeah.
right in the nose because I fell asleep and the phone hits me in the nose. It hurts too.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
Oh my
But
God.
but
Gus
anyway,
is,
I just wanted to mention that, I will be working with Alida. We're trying to create a retreat. Unfortunately, we weren't able to pull off the retreat that I have with a shaman that I work with. She's indigenous, very talented, multi-generational, and the sad truth is that we were doing it in Colombia, and unfortunately, this terrorism fighting and the in a beautiful castle, we were doing all of this stuff. But when the castle says, "Well, we will have guards," and
yeah,
and
I
I'm
didn't
starting
want
to
to.
think that I'm going to have to bring bodyguards to the airport to pick these people up. I said, "No, this
Nah,
is
and I don't
not
want
a
to wear. I don't
relaxing
want to wear
retreat."
a
Right.
bulletproof vest either.
Exactly. This is not a retreat that you could go to. It's nobody's going to be able to relax, and I'm not going to be
Exactly.
able to promote something like that.
Exactly. So
So
what we're planning to do is I'm still waiting to get the information, but I do have a couple of possibilities that I talked to you, Gus, so we can do the retreat here in Florida, more like Central Florida, around that area. There's some rivers up there and everything. And actually in up where we're going, I'm moving to, there's a river also up there. It's a really beautiful
that's
river.
wonderful. We
Yeah.
need something. What I liked about Colombia is the incredible mountains that are there,
Oh,
and this castle surrounds the energy of the mountains, the Andes Mountains,
no.
which they carry a very high vibration. But unfortunately, they're in a neighboring town where the terrorism
Yeah,
is
we
the
can't do
guerrilla
that.
fighting is there. And though I've been to the country, more than a couple of times, a few times,
Right.
and I like it, and I always feel divinely protected. And actually, in Colombia, nothing has ever happened to me. I've been in Venezuela, and I've been, in the middle of a crossfire. I was there like 3 or 4 times, and in Panama, I almost got stoned during Noriega's time because the fishing, the little fishing boats, all their natural supplies were being taken by American fishing boats that were contracted through Noriega. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't know, governments that do things, and then people think that you're a part of that because I was an importer, but I had nothing to do with it. And, if I couldn't speak the language, I don't think I'd be here to talk about this.
Yeah.
Another thing, in a civil war in Argentina, fired upon because I was on the wrong side of the street, meaning you couldn't walk on the same side of a police station because police stations were getting bombed every day.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
things happen,
In Argentina, they were
martial
bombing police
law, all kinds
stations?
of things. I got to experience a lot of things,
Wow.
machine guns pointed at my head, all of that kind of stuff. That's why I say to everybody, we need to stay free. We need to make sure that we can be a part of a community. We don't need to be in some division, be divided up. That's how people become chopped up, disgruntled, poor, unsatisfied. And that's where a lot of narco trafficking comes from. They feel that they don't have a way out. And all of a sudden, I'm joining a gang, I'm joining a group. It's like a community. They have their own community, just not for the good.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what we're working to work as a unit. Anything that we do, if we work as a community, we are always stronger.
Exactly. And that's what we're
But
trying to
anyway,
do.
I want to mention Erica Nevermore,
Okay.
and it's at nevermorespiritualism.com. So if anybody wants to look me up, I will be there. And yes, I'm looking to do workshops on the emotional weight release with Alida, and also to get these retreats where we do, universal breath empowerment. We do 9 steps to a healthy mind. We use heart conscious therapy. You come out of the retreat tooled to the max, meaning that you can do the self-care that you need to do to go to a higher vibration so that there's more peace, less stress, and you don't become a slave to your circumstance. But basically, this is the way we're accustomed to working in America. We become indoctrinated into something, and then we're just worn out. We have what we feel like short weekends. We're back to doing something that we may or may not like, and the whole idea is here: take this break, get yourself together, get healed, come back differently, transform yourself, and move yourself forward.
Correct. And it's so important. I mean, it's so important. I tell people, like I said, I've been changing every day. I'm learning something. Gus has helped me a lot too. I've been taking an elixir that he had made, and it's all these natural herbs in liquid form. And I've been braving that. I've been drinking that every day. It's not the most tastiest thing in the world, but
No,
but
no.
but you know what? I've seen a change in my body. I was working out again a little bit. I got a little injury on my knee, so I gotta readjust again. But there's a lot of things you can do. Gus can help you with a lot of different things. He's coming out with some other, right? You're coming out with some other supplements and things like that as well that we can purchase. Also, you have the
For sure.
brainies. You have
For
some
sure.
other things
Exactly.
too. So he has a lot of different products that he has worked on, and all natural. And of course, besides all being natural, they're all very how do you call it, spirit filled and
Spirit
prayed
filled.
on, and
Yeah.
so you're taking something that like it's blessed by God. That's all I can say.
Well, the thing that I always believe is don't give anything to anybody that they shouldn't have. So, we need to be bone crushing honest in this life. I've said many times, okay, this product, even though I make it, this is not for you because I can read the energy of the body. This is not going to work for you. You need something different. I don't have a problem saying that. You need something
Right.
different. This is not going to work for you. And I'll help you get onto the product that you actually need. It doesn't matter whose product it is. All we need to make sure that it's top grade, that is going to do what you need it to do inside of your body.
Right. And our bodies heal. So I keep saying that over and over again. People have to understand that you might be at a moment in your life that you're sick and you have a lot of things going on, but your body will heal. It will respond to the good things you put in it. Okay, it's unbelievable what the body does. Next week, I have a guest that's coming on the show. His name is Mike. He's a DJ. You'll know who he is later when I do the flyer. But he is going to discuss his life-changing events that have occurred in his life that he hasn't spoken to anybody about. He spoke to me about it, how he was diagnosed with something very, very, how do you call it? Deadly, okay? And he has changed his life. He has been researching and reading. He knows so much. He knows more stuff than I do. I'm like, where'd you learn that? He's telling me things too, because he started reading and researching. What can I do to make my body better? How do I get rid of this? How do I fix my liver? How do I fix my kidney? What do I need to do? So with his open mind, he has been able to embrace all the knowledge, right? And he prays and he meditates, and he's just really, really now realized, I have to take care of my body myself. I'm going to die. And he has changed his life. So he's going to talk to us next week. So I hope you guys will see that next week. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. But Gus, thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
Alida.
brought Mama Antula to the world here, to our readers. Oh, I feel her blessings already. And that people know that we have a new saint that was she just became a saint, right? Just the other day, like a month
She
ago.
did last month in February.
In February.
Yes.
And so everybody out there, embrace God, embrace your new you for this 2024.
Exactly.
Remember, it's never too late to reboot your mindset. So let's do it.
There you go. Replace those old brain cells with new brain cells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
thank
right.
you, Gus. I'm going to say goodbye to
Thank
everybody,
you.
but thank you, Gus.
Bye-bye. Bye.
So everybody, thank you so much for today's episode here that you joined us. Gus is amazing. If you need any information, I'm going to put my email up here. Let me just get that. I got so many things on my list here. Where's my email? There it is. info@rebootedthepodcast.com. Please email me any information that you may need. If you want to reach Gus, if you want to learn about the retreat, there's so much information, but we want to learn about all the supplements and things and how to make your life better. There's so many things you can do out there. Don't forget to take care of yourself so you can take care of others out there, because you're number one. So you have to remember, look in the mirror every day. You're number one, you're beautiful, and you're worth it. So remember that, and God loves you. So let's make it a great day. And I'll see you next week with our special guest, and you're going to enjoy the episode. Please be here next week, because the story is going to be amazing of his recovery and how you can change your life as well. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel down there. There's a little bell to notify you, and subscribe on YouTube, and I'm on all platforms. So I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Okay, sorry, I was looking for something. Okay, let's see. There we go. So see you next week. And there's all my information. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you again. Bye.